Sup guys, Bo here. I'm gonna have to like peek in from this little corner. Don't know how this is gonna turn out, but it's gonna be like the bottom half of my face is like, yeah, like in the darkness. In this video, I want to talk to you about. Really in these few videos, I've just been kind of like going back to old, kind of concepts that I've already touched upon, and then just elaborating on them. I don't want to drown you guys too much in just like, new kind of esoteric kind of ideas, and also it kind of takes me a bit of time to flesh out the ideas I get. So it's a good thing to just go back and flesh out some of the ideas I've already kind of put out there. But in this video I want to talk about sensitivity because I haven't really talked about it too much. I haven't really given it much attention too much in these previous few entries. But essentially, why do people put down sensitivity? Why do people judge like sensitive people? Why do people say it's like hard to be a sensitive person in society? Right, and I just want to offer you the perspective of what it's, the very people who basically judge sensitivity, right? And if you're a sensitive person, you know why. You know why it's easy for people to judge sensitivity. Like, we make it easy for other people. And, sensitivity is kind of messy, like being being in touch with your feelings is messy. And, well, life itself is messy, right? Life itself is messy, So, and it's messy, and it's kind of unpredictable. It's uncontrollable at times. And, you never know when, like, your kind of emotions are going to drown you, essentially, then, like, when they're going to take over. And so, think of what it's like for, like, people who kind of aren't so sensitive, or, like, kind of aren't so in touch with their emotions and things like that, right? And, there's logic, and logic is the opposite, essentially. Logic is precise, it's consistent, it is easily communicable, it doesn't change suddenly, logic is like, this rigid framework that we can, that helps us basically have control in our lives. And, it's scary, it's scary to go into your sensitivity, because you never know what you'll find, particularly if you haven't developed the perspective yet, right? When you haven't developed the perspective, like, it's scary because you don't know what the fuck you're going to find, like, and there's so much scary shit in the world, and, like, you look at things and it scares you. But essentially, that's why people put it down. That's why sensitivity is kind of swept under the rug, and, like, made as if it's like a joke by people in society. It's because they're scared of it, essentially. They're scared of becoming more sensitive on account of what they might find, within themselves and just in the world, people, essentially, people want to live their lives, avoiding the things that they don't find savory, or like that they don't find pleasant, yeah. So, they put down sensitivity, people talk of emotions as if they're some kind of, there's some kind of immature thing even. Like, they put it down as like some primitive thing. That's the funny thing, and I can see why people think this way. I can think why people think that everything that is to do with us physiologically is kind of primitive, and that we would place more trust in kind of our intellect, our analytical process, because it's just safer, But yeah, so the average person who's kind of more logical, more kind of like more reluctant to be sensitive and to tap into that thing. So the average person kind of suppresses. Well, the person who is kind of more logical and less sensitive they tend to basically like squash down their sensitivity, like I mentioned in like the video about how to become more sensitive. Like we squash it down, and basically we think that we have it under control like that. But really, you know, no one's ever safe from life, right? No one's ever safe from, like, you know, unpredictability. Like, no one's ever safe from that shit. And I'm saying it because it's like, it's kind of true, right? Obviously, we can work energetically to transform what we believe is bad in terms of what comes up and, like, what unpredictability is even, you know? Like, we can see unpredictability as kind of very fun, actually. You know, it's fun when you don't know what's coming next. Like if you anticipate, right? If you anticipate what's to come as being enjoyable either way, right? So yeah, that should have gone in my perspective video, but yes, but you know, the people who squash down their sensitivity, they kind of fear that, you know, and you know they squash it all down, and they kind of talk about sensitivity as just some kind of primitive joke, but then they basically feed their fear of the very thing that they're making fun of. So, you know, they know that, like, deep down, no matter how much they've suppressed it, they know that, like, there's a side of themselves that they can't control. There's a side of themselves that, like, can just basically take over the driver's seat at any moment, right? And they see people who do exercise the sensitivity, who do embrace unpredictability, who do basically, like, demonstrate, like, these kind of feats of, like, amazing kind of, like, self-composure, like, in, like, really unpredictable, like, circumstances. Like, the circumstances themselves are very kind of unpredictable, like, chaotic, but, like, these people kind of just go through it, and, like, they're fine, and, like, they're kind of strong in that way. And these kind of less sensitive people in society, they view these people, and, like, it just makes them fucking confused. It's like, I don't understand, like, there's this fucking thing, there's, like, that I just wish was not there in me, but it's, like, I can't fucking get rid of it, right? And there's these fuckers who basically, like, go around and, like, they do this voodoo shit. Like, you know, this is why, you know, people, like, you know, voodoo, new agey, like, hippie shit, because they don't understand it, right? It's like, they witness it, and even if they witness it, they have to kind of, like, put it out of their minds, because it just does not compute to them, right? And, yeah, and it's a shame. So, yeah, so that's why people kind of value kind of psychopathic traits in people, because it's, at least that's kind of predictable. Like, at least kind of psychopathy is, like, predictable. Like, even if it is insensitive, you know, even if it does hurt people's feelings and it's not very pleasant at times, at the very least, it gets you somewhere, right? It's not as kind of, like, crazy as listening to your emotions, because no, we don't want to do that. Oh my god, so scary. So, yeah. So, you know, that's the perspective I wanted to offer you guys. I also want to talk about, not in this entry, but I'm going to do an entry about science, right? Science v spirituality, that massive debate, you know. Science v religion, not so much, but, like, science v spirituality, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, and kind of shed some light as to why people have an over-reliance on science. It is an over-reliance on science that we have in society, because we're so scared of our sensitivity, essentially. That's the reason. But yeah, I'm going to save that for the next, for you know, the vlog entry that I'm going to do that in. And hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that's given you guys, you sensitive guys, you know, some more kind of motivation and support and validation, you know, to get out there and rock your shit, because the world needs you. And, you know, hopefully if you're kind of more logical, then you realize that, well, let me just say to you, you know, as a closing statement, you know, it is fucking scary. Life is fucking scary, you know? But when you do it, when you become more sensitive, when you tap into your sensitivity, it's not as bad as you thought it was going to be, you know? All it takes is a bit of all it takes is just just a bit of courage, really, a bit of courage, and and a bit of detachment, really, just detachment from your mind, and I assure you, you'll realize it's not as bad. And really, the future is all about kind of fusion between sensitivity and logic, really. So cool. I'm gonna finish up there. Hopefully that was helpful, and see you in the next one. Peace.